This is Pop Culture Period Piece Podcast. I'm Laura.
And I'm Julie. We are actors, costumers, movie, and book enthusiasts.
But we have very different tastes. So every week we pick a pop culture period piece to talk about.
Our thoughts about the movie and also anything the movie brings up.
Like how The Mummy is totally written through the female gaze, and Santa Fe from Newsies is the ultimate I Want song. To know what that is, listen to us.
So if you like movies with corsets, manners, and cottagecore aesthetics, give us a listen.
Pop Culture Period Piece has a new episode dropping every Thursday. Goodbye.
Bye.
You fully love living up here in space, right?
So,
if you're not Mondo nice to me, I'll tell Daddy I don't think you cars deserve to stay on this station.
Cetus Lapidus, you think your father's going to reassign us just because you tell him to?
Want to find out?
No, it's okay.
Let's just make this simple. You be super, super sweet to me, and everything will be fine. Byness!
Byness is my state of being.
That's such a good joke. That's such a good joke. Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D-Commentary.
Thank you. Welcome to you and welcome to all of our listeners. Today, we're talking about Zenon, the Zequel.
Woohoo!
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Except that's
Make
not the
my
song.
heart go.
Boom, boom. Supernova.
Nova girl. Val, before we get started, I just have to say, I surely did miss you.
I missed you. Friends, we were both on vacation.
So we didn't see each other. We typically see each other and talk all the time. And for about like 2-3 weeks, we did talk. We texted a little bit, but we weren't, seeing each other's faces in the screen and listening to our voices through the screen.
That's right.
So we're back to the screen, baby.
Right.
Let's go.
And we both went to respective Disney locations.
Val, where did you go?
I went to Hawaii for my honeymoon, as I mentioned I might. And then I think I mentioned that I was actually doing in more recent episodes. And among other things, we did go to Aulani, the Disney resort. I'm actually wearing my Aulani hat right now.
Yeah, can confirm.
And it was amazing. It was so nice. We had a really funny character breakfast by accident the last morning we were there.
Wait, what happened?
Like, we just didn't know we were signing up for a character breakfast.
The like music, and they're like, "Brady, Heedy, how, hey, the people, Chip and Dale are on their way to deliver your pancakes."
Right, exactly. We did we got like a photo op, but we didn't know we were getting a photo op. It was very fun.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, Al, where were you?
I went to Disney World. And I went for 6 days. That's the longest Disney trip that I've had in a long time.
Wow.
But we only did parks 2 of the days. We went to Epcot one day, where listener of the pod, Zach, who also works at Disney, we drank around the world in Epcot. And then he also came with us to the Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom another day. And the rest of the days were really nice, relaxing days, reading, hanging out, Disney Springs. But it was really cold. It was 50 degrees the entire time.
That's crazy.
Florida didn't hold out for the weather. But my most comfortable form is a sweatshirt and leggings. So being able to wear that into a Disney park was actually very comfortable for me.
And I will say that you looked very cute in your sweatshirt.
Thank you. I did make everyone take a million pictures of me. I also, coming on our TikTok soon, did Al on the street in a different form than Val did the first time. And it was when I was in Epcot. And so it gets continuously more drinks in me.
Perfect. I also did mine in Epcot. So, at some point we'll go to the other parks.
It's perfect.
Also, I just
One day Val and I will drink around the world together.
We better. We better.
But
I also just want to note that normally we bleep every time we say Disney, but considering that Disney would probably appreciate us talking up visiting their properties, I am not going to
That's true.
spend the time bleeping out the
Bleeping all
like
of those
50
out.
times that we just said Disney. So starting now, our normal.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, Al, making my life, making my life hard.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Val, Zenon the
Is it
Zequel,
time
huh?
to talk about Zenon?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Zenon the Zequel came out January 12th, 2001.
Whoa.
So we have exited the year 2000 officially.
They
Crazy.
said I've been to the year 2000.
And now we're in 01 and it's fun.
Oh, okay. And then the song just ends.
Yeah, I'm a master of musical
Yeah.
Anyway, Zenon the Zequel was directed by Manny Koto, who you might recognize his name because he also directed The Other Me. Otherwise, he didn't do any other DCOMs. He is like mostly a TV writer. We talked about it last time. And Zenon the Zequel was written by none other than Stu Krieger.
Oh, Stu, shout out.
Stu, shout out. We just talked about him in our last episode.
I'm obsessed with Stu Krieger, honestly.
Obsessed. And
maybe we need Stu shout out merch, or at least like a sticker. I don't know if we need like Stu shout out shirts, but like a Stu shout out sticker would be awesome.
I will make a Stu shout out sticker for sure. Stay tuned, folks, to our merch store.
Yeah.
So Stu, in case you
are
forgot,
listening.
Yeah, in case you were listening, Stu wrote the original Zenon as well as Z3, which we will get to. I don't know. At some point when I'm 55.
In 2028.
So, Smart House, Phantom of the Megaplex, True Confessions, Gotta Kick It Up, Going to the Mat, Cowbells, all DCOMs. And then he also wrote The Land Before Time, which I always mention because The Land Before Time rocks.
Yes.
Okay, the cast is like medium. So Kirsten Storms plays Zenon Kar, reprising her role from the first movie.
She's back, baby.
Yep. You might recognize her as well from Johnny Tsunami and more recently on General Hospital, where she has been forever.
A fame.
Shadia Simmons plays Nebula Wade, stepping in for Raven Simone, who played Nebula in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Shadia was also in The Color of Friendship and Quince.
Yeah. She is not in Z3.
She's not in Z3. Lauren Maltby plays Margie Hammond. She was also in the original Zenon and as basically the antagonist, one of the antagonists or sort of like a side antagonist. And then she was also in Stepsister from Planet Weird as kind of a similar character, like cool girl who's mean kind of thing. Or mean girl, as one would say.
Who's cool.
Or mean girl who's cool. So here's where we get a couple more recasts. Susan Brady plays Astrid Kar, Zenon's mom. She's also in Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, which we haven't gotten to yet. Also, Susan Brady is from New Zealand, which prompted me to look where this movie was filmed, and it was filmed in New Zealand.
No way.
Yes. So we're back.
So fun. There were some fun jungle shots that I was curious where they were. So that's really fun.
Yes. Yeah. So they were in New Zealand for this, which also makes sense because I'll skip ahead a little bit to Tom Wright, who played Orion. And you will recognize him as my favorite character in Stepsister from Planet Weird. I forget what his name was in that, but he was the lovable idiot.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which movie we had seen him in, but I knew we'd seen him before.
Yeah, and then he is more recently known for shows like Top of the Lake and The Bridge, which are both big in Australia and New Zealand. Okay, then back to the parents. So Robert Curtis Brown played Mark Carr. He's also recast from the first movie. He is a character actor. He's been in everything. You probably recognize his face. He started early in his career with a lot of soap operas. He was on Matlock. He was more recently in A Handmaid's Tale and CSI Vegas, and Station 19 is what I sort of recognize him from more recently.
What's his name?
Robert Curtis Brown. Curtis Brown is hyphenated.
I'm going to see what I know him from because we're going to know him from different things. He's in High School Musical too.
Oh, he is? Oh, I missed that. That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure that he's Sharpay's dad.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. He's kind of like,
Maybe not.
Well,
Let's find out.
we'll find out
But
again in like 8 years.
Yeah. Okay. Who else, Val?
Okay, so Philip Reese played Protozoa, who was also Protozoa in the first Zenon. He's also like done some other random stuff. He had a longish stint on a show called Undressed, on 24, and on Nip Tuck, among other things. He's working.
Nice.
Holly Folger played Judy, also reprising her role. She was, along with being the original Zenon, had a recurring role on Ellen, like the show Ellen. But it doesn't appear that she acts anymore. She like hasn't been in anything since 2013.
Nice.
So,
Good for her. Taking a break.
yeah. And she's great. So like it was a choice. So,
yeah.
Stuart Pankin reprised his role as Commander Plank. And he's been in stuff. The thing that I thought was interesting about his resume was that he was the voice of Earl, the dad on the show Dinosaurs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm the baby.
Yeah.
Gotta love
Exactly.
That's all I remember from that show.
He always yelled at Earl, not the mama. I used to watch.
So funny.
I know. I used to watch that show all the time, but I like forgot about it until I saw this.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Getz played General Hammond, Margie's dad. I mean, he's been in literally everything.
Yeah.
More recently, he's been in stuff like Homeland, Transparent, Bosch, Timeless, Dirty John. I mean, this man has a long, long resume. Okay. Synopsis is a little bit long. Armed with a restricted zone roaming pass awarded to her for her heroism, 15-year-old Zenon Kar and her best friend Nebula stir up trouble all over the space day. When their antics come to the attention of Commander Plank, he sentences Zenon to work in the Alien Patrol Lab, where she will spend hours waiting for signs of alien life. After Zenon receives what she believes to be a radio signal from an alien, she tries to convince the skeptical crew.
That's like half the plot.
Yeah.
There's like a whole other half.
There's a whole other,
but yeah.
It's not the worst synopsis.
I think it's interesting that they had a full sentence based on her and Nebula's antics when that's literally like the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, maybe if it's even 3 minutes. It's it's a good point. I don't know. Al, what were your first impressions?
Thanks, Val. Before I say my first impressions, I just want to let everyone know that I finally went back and wrote down all of my ratings from all of these movies. And I was surprised at some of my answers. I didn't remember that I gave Brink a 9.5. And even though I gave it a 9.5, I don't think that it's my favorite movie that we watched. I just think that it's a good movie. And that is art. And that's criticism. That's criticism of art.
Which is what we are doing.
Is what we are doing right now. So that was really fun for me to go back and look at everything. I loved this movie. I thought it was way better paced than the first one. I thought it was well acted. I thought the plot was good. It just hit. So I'm giving this one an 8.5 today.
Nice.
Yeah. I remembered a lot of it, but not like the part that I forgot was like the whole alien part of the movie. But I remember seeing certain scenes. I remember Protozoa. I remember the like space things. So the space things. I don't know. I really enjoyed rewatching this movie. I did. It was a little more like plot heavy in terms of giving context to things, where I had to go back and rewatch certain things to be like, oh, what did they say? Because I didn't understand what's happening, which is very mature of them to assume that children were able to comprehend this as well, because a 28-year-old woman had to rewind, and that wasn't possible back then.
Right.
So, that's kind of why I give it like a little bit less than a 10, but I really, really, really liked this movie. Val, what were your first impressions?
I too really enjoyed this movie.
We finally agree.
We agree. No, I have been, the last few movies I've watched like first thing in the morning. And I was worried that part of why I wasn't as excited about them was because I was watching them first thing in the morning. But that is not true, because I watched this movie first thing in the morning and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
So I think that my opinion is that Zenon, the first movie, walked so that this movie could run, because
hell yeah,
this movie didn't need to explain a lot of the things or introduce a lot of the things that the first movie did, right? So it got to start from like farther down the path.
Yeah.
It also kind of redid the plot in a lot of ways. Like it sort of hit a lot of the same like plot points or like character issues that these characters have.
Yeah.
But it addressed them in a more complete, holistic way. Yeah. And in a more mature way, to your point, actually. I think that this was just a more mature movie, which makes perfect sense because they go from being tweens to being like full-blown teenagers.
Yeah.
And so like there are a lot more conversations about like, these are my weaknesses, or this is why I do the things that I do, or things like, or like reflecting on like why you have ended up in a place, right? And I love that. Like, I think that that's awesome when a movie that's meant for kids or teenagers takes that on, because I think teenagers are a lot smarter than people give them credit for.
For sure, yeah.
So it's like playing to the top of your intelligence, as we say in improv, right? And I really appreciated that. And I also enjoyed, you know, all the like beautiful vistas of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Having been there, I was like, yep, this is amazing and I miss it. And it's, yes, it is like
there's
this
one
everywhere.
Like beach shot that I was like, that is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I had so much fun. And I think that like they were having fun. You know what I mean? Like you could see, like in particular, I was watching Philip Reese, the guy who plays Protozoa, and there are so many scenes where he is in the background of a shot where it's not like about him in particular, where he's like hip thrusting or like doing something in character that's like so silly, and he's having so much fun. Yeah. And that I just thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great, and definitely would watch again, and will probably watch again at some point.
After I'm changing my answer, I'm going to change it to a 9.
Oh, wow. Okay. 9. Yeah. Nice. I think that's deserved. I agree.
Yeah.
Al, did you have any favorite quotes or moments?
Yeah, I didn't write a lot down because I was enjoying it so much. So these are my favorite quotes. I liked when she said, "Will you ice?"
Yeah.
Instead of like a calm down.
Right.
Loved that. And then when we see the general, the army general come, and she goes, "Flattering Major General." I liked the line, "Never send an amateur to do a job for a pro." And then this specific character didn't know how to do it. And then I liked the line, "They're aliens, Margie, not ghosts." Funny. And then something happens.
Yep.
Oh, and then Orion says, "My mom and dad went to the Milky Way and all I got were these crummy humans." Like all I got was this t-shirt because my grandma went to Florida or something. I thought that was funny. The other like moments that I liked were a casual recast of Raven Simone. She has lots of pull on this spaceship for being 15 years old. And there was one scene where Margie and Zenon don't make words and they just eyebrow at each other. I thought that was really funny. And then I was curious, they kept saying like the time of things, and I was curious if the time in space operates the same as time on Earth. That's just a question for life.
Right. My guess is that they were using like a time like reference point on Earth, right? Because otherwise they're literally orbiting Earth, so they would be like going through time zones like every day, right?
Yeah.
So
well, and that's my question of like, if the Russians are also up there, are the Russians going off the Russian time? But what if their space stations are right next to each other?
It doesn't matter. It's whatever you're deciding is 8 a.m.
Time is a construct.
It is.
Okay.
Everything is a construct. Literally everything is a construct.
I hate everything.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. Val, any favorite quotes or moment?
Sure. Also, you reminded me, I wanted to note, I thought Shadia Simmons did a great job.
She was awesome.
As Nebula. I really like her as an actor.
I know. I wish she was in more.
Yeah. Like, I don't even really think she acts anymore. And she's great.
No.
So, yeah, she was a wonderful recast. You wouldn't have even known that she was replacing someone.
Yeah.
Okay, quotes. So at one point, Orion's getting like really worked up describing like the alien stuff. And he's like, to assume we are the only units in space? I mean, that is not only ludicrous, it's so arrogant. I personally call it rudicrous.
That was a good line.
And then at one point, Margie goes, Trey Viral, he broke up with you. Are you pancaked?
So good.
Yep. I liked this quote just because it's hits you hard. Just because I can't explain it doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on depression.
Yeah. Another one. Nobody ever achieves greatness without risk.
Okay, Zequel.
I know, right? Stu Krieger hitting us with all these heavy thoughts.
Shout out.
Stu shout out. Prozo goes, if I can't find new heights to hit, then I'd just rather be a Havana Cabana boy than a burnout sellout. Was once, isn't now, but still fabulous looking rock star.
So good.
Oh, also at the very top of the movie, they do a Star Wars crawl. And I was like,
yeah,
that is
down.
Bold. Bold of this movie to do that. And it wasn't even like, at that point, they weren't owned by the same company. It wasn't like it was some kind of like connection, whatever.
It was just, oh, that's a space movie.
Yeah. And then at one point, Zenon's mom says this lovely thing to her. You constantly push us into places we never thought in a million years we'd be able to go.
Yeah, that was cute.
So sweet. Another one that's gonna hit you hard. Sometimes we can get so safe we practically stop living.
Wow.
I know. Hitting us hard. Zenon the Zequel.
Friends, if you're listening to this, like rewatch this movie.
Yeah, it's great. Like
pause this.
Yes.
Go watch it and come back.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what it is. But this is a movie, this is go rewatch Brink before you listen to Brink. This is one of those that's go rewatch this movie.
Yes. And you really don't need to watch the original to know what's going on. To follow.
No, because the narrator tells you everything that happened in the beginning.
Exactly. So the crawl will catch you up, but it's a delight, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we go to Spoiler City?
The only thing that I wanted to mention before we go to Spoiler City was that this is our first sequel.
Oh, yeah. And we're entering into sequel territory. Yeah, for sure.
So just wanted to just make it known that it is our first DCOM sequel.
Wow. And what is it, 24, 25, something like that?
I think so.
This is our 25th episode.
Yeah.
Ep 25.
Oh my God.
And it is our first sequel.
Oh no, what's Quarter Life Crisis?
That's why we're redoing movies. Sequel. Cool. Well, shall we strip down to our plastic vests and
our
loincloths?
Space nudes.
Did you see that she was basically wearing a onesie with a plastic loincloth on?
Yeah,
for most of the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just do that.
Great. We have blasted off, and whilst during blast off, our clothes fell off and we're in our plastic suits. So welcome to Spoiler City, where we spoil the movie for you. All right. Lights up on a screen with some stars, and you got it. We're going to have a Star Wars opening where we have a narrator who's not Zenon recap the last movie for us because burp, 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 this is our first sequel. The narrator doesn't come back. So my initial was kaput. We open up onto the spaceship, and Zenon and Nebula are trying to sneak into this really cool thing. And she's like, I found this really cool place, and I found a game that we can play. And it turns out that this game looks like Pong, if you've ever played it, but but instead of it being just Pong, it opens up the space portal in Commander
The
Plank's
airlock.
office.
Which, by the way, why
airlock.
does he have an airlock in his office?
One, why does he have an airlock in his room? Two, okay, we're in Spoiler City. So this man goes into his office and figures it out, and it's open, and he doesn't just die
Yeah,
right away.
2 people survive an open airlock.
What's happening here? Also, if she said, I found this game, it's really fun, it means that she's done this before, and you can't tell that she's done it before. So
I wrote the exact same thing down.
A lot of plot holes right here, right off the bat. That's why we gave it a 9 instead of a 10. Okay. Then we cut to Zenon is basically grounded by the ship. Not grounded like last time where she sent to Earth, but just in trouble, and she has to, stay in her room for now. And because Greg is not in this movie, they have to cut his character out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So she hangs up the phone and says, Greg dumped me. And so she gets dumped by Greg. And it's mostly because he's just not in this movie. So it was a way to kind of get him out.
Right. I think he might have already been doing Everwood, so he probably just didn't have time.
Yeah. So I wrote down Margie had something to do with this, which is funny. Then she gets grounded to the AP lab, which is it's the alien
patrol.
So so instead of being grounded to her room or to Earth, she gets grounded to the AP lab, which is the alien patrol lab in like the basement of the ship, where she meets Orion, who I'm sure she already knows, but he patrols the lab looking for alien contact. So he watches this screen basically with all of these waves.
Also, can we talk about that? Planck says Orion's been working there for 5 years, but he's the same age as Zenon. So he's been working there since he was 10.
Love that for him. He's so smart. He is so smart. So she has to work in the AP lab with Orion for a month. She goes back to her room and she turns on the TV, and we find out that Protozoa is missing on Earth and no one can find him. This would be really sad. I very related to this movie as if Protozoa to Zenon is Harry Styles to me. So if Harry Styles was
thought
missing,
that's where we were going.
I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'd be pissed. Okay. Do not go missing, Harry. I will miss you.
He's not going anywhere. He's getting Marvel money now.
I know. He's going to be a very big success during our lifetime, which I called in 2012. Okay. Great. I love this. I'm getting really sidetracked doing this one. Sorry. Okay. Then the U.S. military, we find out Commander Planck says that they are going to come take over the ship after the fall of Wincom, and that the ship is falling apart. We find that it's like deteriorating because during all of that stuff, it fell out of orbit. So because it fell out of orbit, it's kind of just floating aimlessly, and the ship itself is deteriorating. But they also are going to like let parts of the ship go in hopes to like get back in orbit, which, spoiler alert, doesn't work, but we'll get there. So then we have the U.S. Army, which is basically the 2001 version of Space Force, like spaceship covered in camouflage, which makes no sense for space.
Also, when the general first arrives, he looks like he's from World War II.
Yeah,
like his uniform is
what's going
ridiculous.
So they come aboard, and Commander Planck is like, Zenon, go away. And the general is like, oh no, I don't need you, Commander Planck. I need Zenon. And so the general is like, I have a really big task for you. And Zenon's like, yeah, I'm going to save the ship. And he goes, I need you to watch my daughter. And then goes her footsteps down a hallway. It's Margie, our bully from the last movie. Crazy. How is she here? Oh, what, Val? It's her dad. Okay. The general is Margie's dad. So now Margie is on the ship. Zenon has to be nice to Margie because, as I previously mentioned, the ship is kind of like a big donut. It's like 2 or 3 big donuts stacked on on top of each other, and they're breaking off parts of the donut. That includes living quarters, that includes labs, which means that they have to kick people off the ship. People don't want to leave the ship. People like living in space, but there is a chance that like Zenon's family could get kicked off to Earth. So Margie is like, I'm going to blackmail you if you aren't nice to me. I'm going to tell my dad. So then we see this really fun montage of Zenon doing chores for Margie, cutting her food, painting her nails, doing her homework, all of those things. The funny one is when she's painting her toenails, she puts glue in the nail polish. That might be a scene that you remember from watching this movie, where Margie goes to take off her sock and it's like stuck to her toes. I remember that entire scene very vividly. Then we cut back to Zenon in the AP lab, and she sees something was detected. So it was like a weird wave on the screen, and it was like a zoom is how they, in subtitles, it was like ZUM, and it was like a zoom. And she tells Orion and Commander Plank, and he says, I assigned you down here to keep you out of trouble, not to detect aliens. And I wrote, it's a very Boy Who Called Wolf situation. And then 2 minutes later, someone goes, my family thinks that you're the girl who cried alien. So no one believes her that she heard this. Val is really upset at this.
Yeah, because she literally just went through this. Like, I wrote down, like, how is it possible that they won't even entertain that she could possibly be telling the truth? Because she just went through this where they didn't believe her, and then she turned out to be completely right. That's like, you have to suspend belief for this, obviously.
Right.
But like, it like made me so mad.
Well, that, and if you have this much technology, you're going to have record.
Right.
You're going to be recording this. You're going to have record that it exists. You're going to like, it didn't just go away and you're never going to hear it again, you know? So a smaller plot hole, 9 out of 10. Okay. So Margie is then now, because Zenon has for the last month been away, Margie has taken over like Zenon's friends, including Nebula. So you can start to see that Zenon and Nebula are like not butting heads, but you can just kind of see that they're pulling apart just a little bit. And at one point, Nebula is like, well, you can't hang out with me anyway. So what do you want me to do? So it's very interesting. I think it's interesting too that Nebula didn't get in trouble because they were both playing the thing. But I know that Zenon is the one who like took her there, but she should have gotten like a week in AP lab.
Right.
You know,
I think that it's kind of like when she does the spacewalk in the first one where like all the kids are there, but like she's the one whose idea it was and like whatever. And she takes the hit because she doesn't want them to get in trouble. So I think it's probably something like that. But also I will say that at the beginning, Zenon does kind of give Nebula permission. You know, she sort of says like, it's okay, go hang out with her. I can't like come anyway.
And then it turns into every day, all the time, never seeing her.
Right.
Zenon hears aliens again. She's back in the AP lab and she hears it. And this time it's like she knows like it is a full on zoom. Like you can hear it. We hear it. And she pulls Commander Plank and Margie's dad. And Margie's dad is literally like, I'm going to shut down this entire lab because it's malfunctioning. And Zenon's like, it's not malfunctioning. I'm telling you, it's working correctly. I'm hearing it work. So then she leaves the AP lab because they're like, you're not allowed here anymore.
Also,
so she's done.
Isn't this such like adult men like looking down on teen girl energy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, okay, little girl, whatever. Right. I know better. It was just, it was so infuriating.
Right. Stupid. So then we see Nebula and Zenon fight. We see this is where they get mad at each other and they're not talking anymore. And then Zenon is grounded now in her room and she's playing on her iPad and she fully shuts off her iPad. And they called it something of like a video pad or something.
Zap
and I was like,
pad.
Oh, Zap pad. Yeah, truly insane that we call them iPads.
I know.
But she turns off her Zap pad and then she's just standing doing something else and her Zap pad starts ringing. She turned it off and it starts ringing. And it's the same screen and it's the same zooms. And it turns out, Val, what is it? It's zoom, zoom, zoom. No, make my heart go. It's just zoom, zoom, zoom. She goes, I've heard that before. Protozoa. And so she is thinking, she calls Orion to come down to her room. And she's like, they want to meet Protozoa. These aliens have heard of Protozoa and they want to meet him. How cool. And so then the ship, we see part of it detaches. And so it's starting to get real of like the Titanic, you know, about to crash. And we find out Zenon goes up to Nebula. She's like, girl, why are you so mad at me? And Nebula's like, I'm not, but I'm leaving. And Nebula and her family. Her parents' lab is on the next part of the ship that's getting detached. So she has to go down to Earth. So they're very sad. So Zenon, instead of beating around the bush, she sneaks off the ship. Okay. We see her where she's in this little box, and then she's trying to get out of the box. And who knows how long she was in there, but very funny. And then she gets out of the box, and then we hear, took you long enough. And Margie did the same thing. I wrote it in all caps. I was like, so did Margie. I was so surprised. So Margie was like, why do you get to go on all the cool adventures? Blah, blah, blah. So Margie followed her. They go to Aunt Judy's house because they knew Aunt Judy would believe her because Aunt Judy rocks. And they're trying to figure out where Protozoa is because she wants to get Protozoa to bring him to the aliens because they want to meet Protozoa. So they're like, how do we find out where he is? No one's heard from him in months. He's absolutely hiding away. So they think about the lyrics of his songs to figure out where he is. And due to some incredible escape room puzzle, they figure out that he is in Nova Linda Cove, which is the middle of nowhere. So Aunt Judy drives them to this fence and just lets these two 15-year-olds travel into the jungle alone. And it's not a montage, but it's a very fun series of scenes of Margie and Zenon in the jungle. Of Margie trips and she goes, will you carry me? And then she trips and falls into mud, and they have a fun interaction with a spider, and it's very fun. It's a fun scene where they're not friends yet, but you can kind of see them start to like tolerate each other. Mm-hmm. So we go back to the ship, and Margie left on her iPad a video for her dad to see where she straight up lied and said, Zenon forced me to get off the ship. I'm in danger, blah, blah, blah. And that made me so mad.
I was irate.
I know. It was so bad. Then we cut back to the jungle, and we see this fun interaction with the big tarantula. And then we cut back to the ship where Zenon's parents are talking, and they're playing like technology chess, which is not real chess, but it's very funny. They're like, we haven't heard from Zenon in a while. So they end up going to her room. They had made a comment of, well, I knocked on her door and she said, go away. And so they tried again, and they knocked on her door, and she said the same thing the same way. And so they did it. They walked in, realized she wasn't there. And every time you'd knock, she had set something up. So kind of Ferris Bueller's Day Off-y, where you like ring the doorbell and it plays a recording. Mm-hmm. Zenon is so smart. Mm-hmm. Like she is so smart. So finally they stumble upon Nova Linda Cove and find Protozoa's house. They step onto the grass, and some technology, who knows what this is, causes them to not be able to move, and it's like laughing gas.
It's like
tickling you. Yeah. And so this is the line where Margie goes, don't, like, what are you doing? And Zenon can't tell her, like, don't come, because she's laughing too hard. Margie's like, don't have an adventure, do a pro job. And very funny. So then Protozoa comes out, and he's like, oh my God, it's Zenon. You're a really cool 15-year-old, and I'm a 35-year-old, but they talk to him, and he admits that he was hiding because he wanted to figure out his next adventure. He was kind of feeling very low, very depressed. He didn't feel like anything he was doing had meaning anymore. And so he just kind of cut everyone off, and they finally convince him to go to space. She's like, this will be your next adventure. Go to space, meet the aliens. So then we see this really beautiful moment between the parents of being worried. Mom is really worried, and she wears a safety helmet throughout the movie sometimes, of leaving the spaceship. And they have this really nice conversation of, if we have to leave, it'll be okay. It'll be really scary, and we don't want to do it. But if we have to, like, there's nothing we can do about it. And their family, they say, family is getting through whatever we have to face together. I thought that was really beautiful. Then they try to leave to go to their lab and try to find Zenon, and the army men are at their door, and they say, you're under house arrest. And they're like, what the heck? And they're under house arrest until Zenon returns with Margie. So at this point, the general is still under the impression that Zenon has kidnapped Margie. And he's like, I'm going to trap Zenon's parents until they return her. Then we cut back to Protozoa, and he's found his newfound love for writing. He's back at it. And then it's like, how are we going to get back in contact with the aliens if it happened once and space is infinite? how are we going to find where these aliens are? And the aliens either earlier or then send Zenon a map of where they are. And so she has that on her iPad. So she calls Orion and sends the map to him to decipher where they are. And then Zenon wants to call her dad to get the ship to send like a safety ship so that they can send them up. So then Margie tries to get in contact with her dad to say, Dad, I'm fine, actually. Can you send a ship to come get me? She can't contact him, but she can see video of him. And she hears that everyone on the ship will be off the ship next week. And they're freaking out because it's this bad. And then Aunt Judy tells Commander Plank the entire story. And he's like, are you serious? And Aunt Judy is like, I would never lie to you, my handsome boyfriend. And so he believes her, and that we love when men believe women, even though he didn't believe women earlier, but at least to listen to his girlfriend. And so he's like on board for like, okay, I will help to get Protozoa to the aliens. Margie and Zenon fight, and they're like, why do you hate me? And she goes, you're mean to me. And she goes, no, that's just how I am. And she goes, why are you like that then? Zenon goes, start by learning you're not the only person in the galaxy with problems. So then they kind of like, Zenon and Margie kind of make up, and we see them start to become friends. Then we have Nebula's mom in the kitchen talking to Nebula. And this is the Earth kitchen that they're in. So they're settled in and they're like, nah, this sucks, but whatever. And then the army comes in their front door and is like, where's Zenon? And Nebula's like, I don't know. Okay? I don't know. And then Plank gets approval to fly the ship down to Earth. He goes, hey, he like fakes it, but he's like, hey, I just want to go visit my girlfriend. So the general is like, okay, yeah, no problem. You can take the ship. And Aunt Judy tells Plank what beach to meet at. And then the army shows up at Judy's house, and she escapes through the back door and over into the garage. And then Plank is getting ready to go. He is like, I'm going to go take this ship. He's on his way. And it's a case of like, look behind you before you talk. Yeah, and he had spilled the beans too. Or don't talk at all. He like spilled the beans to Orion of like, I'm actually going to take Protozoa to
here's
the
whole
aliens.
plan.
And, yeah, the general was standing right behind him. Yeah. So the plan was kaput then. So then Commander Plank can't take the ship anymore. So they're kind of screwed, but Zenon doesn't know that. Orion sneaks into Zenon's parents' place to talk to them and be like, what do we do? And then at the same time, Aunt Judy is at Nebula's house. So everyone's kind of like trying to contact. There's a lot going on, but it's really all it's good. Watch it.
Hijinks.
Yeah. So, hijinks ensue. So we find out that Plank is the only one out of all of these people who can fly a ship until Mom. And she has been, what did Val say earlier? She has been afraid to live. And so she was afraid to fly this ship, but she's the only other person who knows how to fly a ship. So Orion sneaks her through the air ducts to get to the spaceship to take it, but it doesn't end up being a regular spaceship. It ends up being the garbage truck of space shuttles, but it's the only way they can sneak one out.
Right.
And so they take the garbage truck out, and Mom is freaking out, flying this airship. What is it? Spaceship?
Shuttle.
Thank you. And they land at the same beach where Aunt Judy is, and Nebula is, and Margie is, and Protozoa is, and Zenon is. And so they all met at the right beach at the right time, and Mom and Orion come down and pick them up. And right at the same time, the army is on the beach somehow in coming to take the shuttle down.
On all these ATVs.
Yeah.
It's like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Coming to take the shuttle down. And very funny.
Also, when did was it Mom and Dad that had the conversation about like how having kids like changes your sense of like fear? Or was it Mom with Orion? I don't know. At one point when she's like either considering or just after she decides to fly the shuttle, she just says, they have this discussion about like she's like, why am I like this? You know, I used to be so brave and adventurous. And I think it's the dad. I think he says something like, well, you had a kid and that changes everything. And I just,
and then he probably says that family line.
yeah. And I thought that was like really cool to talk about because like it's just like something that teenagers don't really think about, but like it gives you context on your own parents, you know, to think about stuff like that. So it's cool. I don't know.
No, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then the army is on the beach and they take off and mom gets the ship up. She was really worried she wouldn't be able to get it up and they don't hit the cliff and then they're back in space. So the general yells at dad and he yells at Plank and dad's just like, dude, calm down. Okay. And so then he kind of does. Dad is like a hero in this situation and they're up in space. They go to the right spot on the map and they can't find the aliens. And then this is where mom and Zenon have a really nice moment where mom thanks Zenon for taking her out of her cocoon is the quote that I wrote down. And Zenon's like, how are we doing this? Like, we're going to stay up here forever. And they're like, oh yeah, no, we have enough gas. We have enough food. We're good. And then they run out of gas. And she's like, oh no, we got the auxiliary tanks. And it's like, just kidding. Those are empty. And she goes, what the heck, Orion? And he goes, oh, he forgot to fill the auxiliary tanks with gas. And so they're like about to die because
they get pulled into a moon's orbit. So
pulled
like
into the moon's orbit. Yeah. So they're about to die and everyone's freaking out. But Zenon is staying weirdly calm because she looks out the window and the aliens who she had been contacting come and save them. This is a very Arrival moment. If you've ever seen Arrival, don't watch that movie. It made me clench my ass the entire time.
I love that movie.
But I don't like space, so that's why. So then the aliens save them from crashing into the moon. And this is where we get the Margie's like, do you think they're going to come aboard? And Xena's like, they're not ghosts. And then it comes aboard.
And it is a ghost.
Then it is a ghost. And it's just like this floating orb.
It's not even an orb. It's sort of like it's just like glitter. It's like just sort of
like
floating.
A circle orb. It's like an amoeba. Amoeba orb. Yeah. And Zenon talks to it and they find out that they don't want protozoa. That's not what they were doing. What do they want? And Zenon, it kind of like goes into her brain and like talks to her so that it can understand what it's saying. And they've been lost for 3 Earth years. And this is where I had that question of time. They've been lost for 3 Earth years and their like system broke and they need working instruments and they want to like take their navigation system from them. And if they can, then we'll take you back to your ship. And they're like, okay, well then why didn't you just take it? And they go, taking without asking is not polite. And I just thought that was so cute. So they just knew that like doing the like zoom was going to be the way to get in contact with you know, the humans.
Because they heard Protozoa's concert.
They heard Protozoa's song. And so then they end up snaking into their computers and just like sucking out all the information. And they deliver back to the ship and then they fly away. And the army dad still does not believe them. He needs proof that they exist, which once again, silencing women. Okay. But the ship is deteriorating and Margie stands up for Zenon and is like, no, Dad, you're being a mother idiot. Okay. You suck. Stop silencing women. And then because the ship is literally falling apart as we speak, the alien didn't leave yet. It took all of the broken pieces, put it back onto the ship and moved it back into orbit so it would stop deteriorating. And that's the beautiful story of that. But there is like a final ending where Protozoa puts on a little concert with a new song and it's really beautiful. And then it turns out it's a wedding for Commander Plank and Aunt Judy, and Margie and Zenon have made up. And Zenon makes eyes at Orion. Is that going to come back in Z3? Mm-hmm. And Plank and Plank and General makeup, and all is right in the Zenon universe.
Yep. The galaxy is ours. That's the new song. It's a good one.
I definitely recognize it, but I didn't remember the lyrics.
Yeah, same. It wasn't like zoom, 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 where I was like, yeah, I know this whole song somehow.
Yeah. I like this movie.
It's great.
I feel like my explanation was long, or my synopsis was long, because I like this movie so much, I wanted to include all the information.
Totally. And there's a lot going on, not in a bad way. It's a complete movie with a good story, good exploration of character.
Minutes.
Yeah, it's great. This is one of the best, if not the best one we've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think my favorites now are probably this one and Under Wraps.
Yeah, I think me too. And Brink, but I have a soft spot for Brink. Yeah. I came into this with Brink as my favorite.
Val, I don't have anything crazy to mention before we go to bingo, but if you do,
the only thing I wanted to point out was that the interior of Protozoa's house and the interior of Judy's house are the same house.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, this is the same set. They just put up.
All right, we're just going to turn the camera this way. Move that plant.
Yeah. It was so funny, but I liked it.
Yeah. Like they did a really good job with set design.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of it is practical, which I think was smart. Because especially at the time, like you can't animate as much and do as much. But when they did have to animate it, I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah. Welcome to bingo.
Zoom, 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 bingo. Okay, perfect. I will go first. One hit wonder song. Well, yes, but also like now I feel weird about that because like obviously this is his second hit. I don't think it counts.
Damn it. It's such a good song.
It's such a good song. It's it's just not a one hit wonder.
Yeah, because he has a 2-hit wonder.
It's a 2-hit wonder.
Stupid. All right, next box. Breaking the fourth wall or looking into the camera. There is one, and I noticed it. When the aliens fly by the window.
Oh, okay.
Everyone looks directly in the camera as if the alien is the camera.
It. Okay.
And I noticed it.
Cool.
Cool.
Holiday themed. No.
Nah. Space themed. Clunky metaphor.
I think that like going into space and like exploring space and like talking to aliens, contacting the aliens is all sort of like a physical manifestation of like how Zenon is so brave and like brings the best qualities out of everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the way, I guess, okay, this is the most cliche way of putting it. The way that the aliens draw Zenon to them and out into untamed space is the same way that Zenon pulls everyone else out of their comfort zone.
Whoa. I'm marking it. Done. That's Val, this is beautiful.
Thank you. Just did that on the spot.
Yeah. We're going to keep her around, everyone.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
At least for one more week.
Okay. I'll do my best. I'll do my best to earn my spot.
Okay.
Parents who just don't get it.
But they make her like, they didn't, like, no one believed her alien thing.
That's true. All right.
It took them a while to turn around.
You're right.
Thank you. Cool non-parent adult.
A lot of them.
Protozoa. Aunt Judy. Not the general. Commander Plank.
Yeah, I would say Commander Plank even. Yeah, there's a number of them.
I really liked his turn in this movie.
Yeah, he got more to do in this one. It was fun.
Yeah.
Someone too famous for a TV movie. No.
Not this one.
No.
Yeah. Competition to resolve central problem.
No.
Nope.
A montage sequence. Yes.
Yep.
Doing all Margie's biddings.
Yeah. That's a fun little part. Cliche villains. The army.
Yeah, I guess the army. Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, if it's kind of like the villain in Avatar is the army.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's less extreme than that. But yeah, I mean, they are sort of indiscriminately invading people's homes and stuff and chasing after teenagers based on like an assumption, essentially. Clothes or items you owned? No. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I don't remember if we said anything from the first movie.
I don't remember either, but I mean, it's hard in this movie because it's set in the future. So like most things are not the way they would be. I mean, there were like things where they'd painted a Discman to make it look like something else and things like that. So probably there was something, but like, I don't know if I count that. Like it would have to be like
that's okay.
literally used as the same in the same way.
All right. None, which is, we usually mark that one.
I know.
We usually find something. All right. Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60. Once again, since we haven't mentioned it in a while, Val will guess. If she gets it within 5, she will get the point. If we get it 40 to 60, we get the box.
I liked this, but I've been burned on a lot of my guesses. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say 59.
I was hoping you'd say 50 and you would have got it. 46.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm a little disappointed in everyone
lame.
for that one. Yeah, but we get the box.
Great. Happily ever after. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Another freeze frame. Another smiling
But there
face.
is Z3, so something's about to go awry.
Yes, but probably.
But for right now.
Ever after.
Yeah. Almost kissing.
There's definitely like a moment with Orion, and it's like so of that era.
I really hope he comes back in the third one.
Me too. He's great. He's great, and he's cute. I have a soft spot for him.
Yep.
There was also sort of like a side kiss between Judy and Plank at the wedding, like a.
That's an almost kiss then. If it was like a.
Yeah, it was definitely like it was pretty much a legit kiss, but like they sort of missed. It's hard to explain. You have to see it.
No, we've all been there.
Someone who became famous.
Kirsten Storms and all of our character actors.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Betraying of one's real friends or values.
No.
Not this time.
No.
That's
the opposite. She sticks to her values no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your childhood crush. I don't have any memory, but like I probably would have had a crush on.
I kind of want to mark it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sort of thought Protozoa was cute when I was younger. So
that's right. Duh, he's in that movie.
Yeah,
no, I don't know. He was mine.
Probably count it for him, but
Yeah,
I definitely
her.
Orion is definitely the type of kid that I would have like had a crush on at that age.
Nerdy nerd.
Yeah, nerdy, but like a kind nerd.
Okay. Obviously bad special effects or stunts.
I mean, I think we have to count a lot.
Have to count it only because of when they show the international like space station where all of the shuttles come. Really bad.
Yeah, I mean it's a movie from 2000, a TV movie from 2001 doing a lot of CGI. It's there's bound to be some not great stuff, but I thought they did do a lot of cool stuff. Like I thought the way they animated the alien was really interesting.
Yeah. Which we had mentioned in Stepsister from Planet Weird of the way that they had interpreted aliens.
Right.
It wasn't like humans.
Right.
It was
like
a much
weird
different
shaped head. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a much different way of thinking about them.
Totally. Yeah. So they did some cool stuff, but it was just the limitations of the circumstances.
Yeah.
Our decom stars: Eric Von Denton, Ryan Merriman, Kimberly J. Brown, Annie Lawrence brother, or Kirsten Storms. Bam, 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 bam. We get this one again.
She's doing a lot for us here.
Mm-hmm.
She really is. Good job, Kirsten. Now my favorite box. A musical number.
Oh, hell yeah.
We get to mark it today.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
And I'll put the song in our playlist too. So
yay.
Listen to it.
A reminder to listen to our playlist.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Magic. Science magic.
Science magic. Okay, we're twins. Val's obsessed with me.
I can't help myself.
Okay. All right. Someone says the title of the movie. Okay, so the last time we gave it because it was Zenon.
Right.
But this one's the Zequel, and that one was Girl of the 21st Century, which wasn't said, but we did give it because they say Zenon.
Yeah.
I think we should only let it fly once, and we should not mark it.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Because if you say, oh, yeah, the decom Zenon, they're like, oh, yeah, the Girl of the 21st Century. They're not about to be like, sequel.
Fair.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo. Yo, yeah.
Yo, yeah. Yo, yeah. Yeah, they very much solve it. The heroes create the problem. No. The aliens were there on their own, and the ship was deteriorating on its own.
Right.
So
It was just kind of a coincidence that she was there to hear it.
Yeah.
Lead is a fish out of water. No, not this time.
Mm-mm. That's her world.
She's an Earth veteran.
And we're just living in it. Oh, Val.
Oh, no.
We got one bingo.
Oh, yay. We got one bingo.
One we don't typically get. So this is a fun one.
Okay.
We got, if you take your B, go all the way down and then go diagonal up. So we have magic, your childhood crush, happily ever after, a montage sequence, and parents who just don't get it.
I don't know if
We never
ever
get that
gotten
one. Yeah.
I like
so very
that
fun.
one.
At least we've never gotten it alone. Maybe we've gotten it when
Yeah.
we've gotten like 2 or 3, but
Yeah.
Good job, Zenon the Zequel.
Thanks, Zenon.
Thanks, Zenon. Are you ready to play, Val?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a fun game because I actually remembered to like set it up today. So, welcome to Do These Movies Have a Zequel?
Oh, okay.
All right. So since this is our first DCOM Zequel, I'm going to ask you, it's a yes or no question. I'm going to give you a movie and you'll just have to say yes or no if this movie has a Zequel or not.
Okay.
I am only going to say a Zequel.
Right. Of course.
All right. So there's 10 points here you can win, Val. All right.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, Grease.
Yes.
That is correct. Grease the Zequel. Number 2 is our DCOM square. Cowbells.
Oh, God. No.
That is correct.
Okay.
Only one cowbell. Cowbell's the Zequel. This could be really easy, but I don't care.
Whatever. It's fun.
Number 3, Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
That is correct.
Dumb and Dumber.
Mm-hmm. The Zequel. Number 4, The Simpsons movie.
Ooh. No.
That is correct.
Okay.
Number 5, Galaxy Quest.
Oh, God. No.
Correct. Number 6, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yes.
That is correct. Number 7, Jaws.
Yes.
That is correct. Number 8, The Goonies.
Oh, man. This one's going to be my downfall. I know they're making like a remake of it. Oh, God. Yes?
No.
Oh, shoot. I was
No
so
Goonies
close.
2, the sequel. All right, we got 2 more though. We
Okay.
have number 9, I Am Legend.
If they did, I wish they didn't. No.
That's correct. And number 10, Lion King.
Yes.
Yes. There's Lion King 1.5 and 2, Simba's Bride. Congrats, Val. You got 9 out of 10.
Oh, man. The Goonies, they tripped me up.
I had to have one hard one in there. Because if you Google the Goonies 2, it like pulls up like a fake movie poster. So I originally thought the answer was yes.
Interesting.
And that is not true. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We love sequels. I'm excited for some more to pop up.
Yeah. There's one in a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Or a couple episodes.
Y'all.
Speaking of, next episode is Motocross.
Motocross. And we'll have a special guest for that one.
Yes, we will. Get excited.
But it's a surprise, so you have to tune in to figure out who it is.
That's right.
Sorry. Remember to like and subscribe.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Leave a review. Everyone have a great week. It is Tuesday, and you rock it today.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
D-Commentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.